All right. Hello, everybody. It is so good to see you all today. We are going live. We're happy to be with you live, and we're here to talk to you about some of the things that is going to be useful for relationships, for relationship building. Man, let me tell you, there are so many things that we need to know when it comes to alleviating patterns of codependency and resetting on relationships. A lot of times the reason why we end up, and let me look at my time, the reason why we end up staying fixed in bad relationships that don't work for us is because we don't necessarily know what it is that attracts us to these relationships. We don't, I mean, and I've talked about this, is that we can get out of one relationship, try to find someone completely different, someone completely new, and still end up with the same type of person. And so, one of the things that I want to do is to help you all to understand how to alleviate these cycles. And a lot of times, the cycles are happening, but it's like I have no control of it. Matter of fact, some of y'all might be able to testify that you are afraid of making new relationships, regardless of whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it is new friendships. Um, One thing that I've noticed is that with individuals who have patterns of independency, sometimes the support system is fragile. And we're going to talk about that. Like, who are the people around you and how are they feeding into you? We're going to get more into that. But the support systems are fragile and they perpetuate the harms that cause us to feel insecure. And because we many times have been traumatized by these relationships, we sometimes even get to the point where we're not trying to make new ones because we're in the back of the mind. It's like I'm gonna just keep on attracting people who are not going to be looking out for my best good. But tonight I want to talk to you a little bit. We'll get back to that. We're going to talk about self support systems. We're going to talk about self-care and some things like that. But right now I want to talk to you a little bit about what this activity that I do with my clients. And I've been blessed to be very, very effective with helping individuals with these concerns. And it's so important that we go through these activities, these exercises and things in order to have these breakthroughs so that we can see things new in a relationship. So tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about I'm going to start from the standpoint of identifying the top three things that piss you off. Now, some of you all, I do this activity where everybody, I always want to know the top three things that piss you off, because for me as an analyst, it helps me to understand what really impacts your soul. Okay, so the problem with many times individuals who are, I might ask the question, what's the top three things that piss you off? And you might think like, what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with everything, because this is the thing. When we get caught up in people pleasing patterns, sometimes we lose focus on the things that make us happy, the things that upset us. We're so a lot of times focused on others that we lose focus on ourselves. And sometimes we're in relationships where people are causing us to be triggered time and time again. So how is it that, let's just say I have a relationship partner. Okay. How is it that this partner knows more about the things that I'm sensitive to, the things that piss me off than I do? And so when I'm not aware of the things that piss me off, when I'm not conscious and keeping track of the things that upset me, then I end up being in situations where I can be used and manipulated. Okay. And sometimes it's unfortunate. Many codependents or people pleasing, some of us that are people pleasing, end up again attracting the narcissists. Okay, we're familiar with narcissists, right? We're gonna talk more about that, but they end up attracting the narcissist, and what the narcissist will do is try to be the puppet master. And so, what he is really good at is identifying the things that upset you. Now, a lot of times the things that upset you, and that's why we're talking about the things that piss you off, the things that upset you are things many times that we have insecurities about and we don't even recognize it. So they could just dangle us around because they know that if I say this at any given time, and a lot of times they can do it when they want something. A lot of times they'll do it to make you get to a point to where you're kind of out of control, or they can make it like you're out of control and upset you and gaslight you. We're going to get into that to the point to where you're just all messed up, and then they're looking at you like, dang, what's the problem with you? And then you might start feeling guilty about it. So this is the reason why that we need to know the top 3 things that piss us off, okay? Because if you never really thought about where that came from, part of the victory is going to be that we no longer being triggered by the things that have generally pissed us off. That's the victory. One thing that narcissists do, or people who like to take advantage of people pleasers do, is they like to, again, play on your weak areas. Play on your sensitive areas. The narcissists that you're dealing with know the things that trigger you. They use these triggers to, like I said, control and manipulate, and we've got to know about it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about more about why this is important to know. And I want to kind of see if I can share some examples. Oh man, let me see if I can share my screen. I want to show, I'm not going to be able to share my screen with these, but I want to show some examples of some of the, oh yeah, I will. Some of the things that narcissists use to manipulate us. All right. Okay. So let's see if we can share the screen here and see if this kind of rings true with you. Have you ever heard of these quotes? Has someone ever used this to manipulate you? Let's see. Okay, so we're not going to go through all these, but these are phrases that narcissists use to manipulate. And it's not just narcissists, it's people who many times that we attract that have narcissistic traits, or have traits to where like they don't mind being the ones who are taking, and they don't mind being the ones who are not contributing back in the relationship. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this brief tonight, and I want to break something down that I think is going to be really important. So many times some of the phrases that a narcissist might use, something's going on, and then they tell you that you're crazy. Okay. Or they might not state that you're crazy, but they insinuate that you're crazy. Now we're talking again. Let's go back. We're talking about the top 3 things that piss you off, right? So why is it? Well, let's just go through these. Let's just go through these, and then I'm gonna come back with a question. Why? Why? Okay. So let's go to this one too. You're needy. You're so needy. I can't deal with it. Okay. So has someone ever told you that you're needy and they just can't deal with, you're just too much? Um, no one else would put up with you like I do. That's a good one. That one is used a lot. No one, in other words, if I leave you, there's no hope for you. So sometimes, whether they're saying it or not, we're often believing this. Why? Because when we get the mistreatment, when we're getting cheated on, when we're being disrespected, when we're not being empathized with, when we're not, a lot of us don't even have our list. And so we move into relationships without an expectation for people who we allow into our company. We don't have a standard. And we're going to talk about that one day too. Why we many times don't have a standard, and why is it easy just for people to just walk in and then walk over us many times, right? So they play on your insecurities. It might say something like, "You're so insecure. Nobody else will love you like I do. You're overreacting. It's not a big deal. You're making this thing a big deal." Okay, so these are some examples of These are some phrases and some things that the narcissist would use. Matter of fact, and we're going to get into this one day, but some have any of y'all heard of the term gaslighting? So the essence of gaslighting, this is a term that describes some of the behaviors that narcissists generally use to manipulate. And gaslighting is basically when a narcissist can, make you believe that what you're saying just doesn't make sense. Maybe I don't know if you thought, like, I don't know, is it me that's crazy, or is it I mean, because this makes sense to me. Sometimes you go up to the narcissist with a problem, by the time you get done, you're feeling like stupid as I don't know what. Like, why did I even mention that? And then you might start feeling some guilt and things like that. So the gaslighting is a situation to where, for instance, the narcissist has the phone, okay, and you walk in and put the phone down, okay, or you start looking over, they put the phone down. It's like you're sensing that there's something about this phone that is not right, and then when you ask about it, or if you see a number or strange text, and you ask about it, they will make you feel as if what you're saying is ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. That's gaslighting. When all the evidence shows, and see, the thing about codependence is sometimes codependence, we don't recognize how smart we are. Codependent, you might not recognize how smart you are, so then you go second guessing, you go questioning, okay, and then it just leads into doubt, insecurity, and then we're kind of way off course. So I want to go through real quick. Okay, real quick, why you need to know. So when we're talking about you're crazy, why do these, and you've got the list here, right? Why do some of these things on this list trigger you? Why do they piss you off? Why do they frustrate you? Why does it end up being an argument? Why are they able to manipulate you with these types of phrases? Well, I'm going to tell you why. And we've talked about this already a little bit. Um, the problem is, like, am I totally convinced that I'm not crazy? Am I totally convinced that what I'm seeing and what I'm believing, am I, like that phrase said, somebody said, you gonna believe me or you gonna believe your own eyes? And I used to think that was silly, but I have dealt with situations with clients to where this is front and center, where like they in bed with somebody, might not be having sex, in bed with somebody, and then there's a conversation, and now I'm feeling stupid for believing that there was something going on because you was in bed with your baby's daddy. You know what I'm saying? Or you was in bed, I'm sorry, with your baby, hope not. Your baby's mama, right? Okay. So hope not that either, right? So this is the thing. The reason why it works is because am I fully convinced? So you're so needy, I can't deal with it. Let's look at that phrase right here. You're so needy, I can't deal with it. What is the trigger there? Is it that I'm needy, or is it that you don't want to deal with me? Maybe it's both. But the triggers here are the things that make us feel insecure. So do I feel strong? Do I feel strong about not being needy? Well, if I don't, then this is going to be a trigger. Okay. It I can't deal with it. Have I had situations and people in my life, and see, this goes back to those childhood traumas and things like that, where I felt like maybe one of my parents or my caregivers just didn't want to deal with me and the concerns that I had. You see what I'm saying? You see how this affects? Um, um, Nobody else would love you like I do. The only reason why that factors and matters is because somewhere in life, in some experience, I have felt unloved. We're going to talk about the uns: unloved, unlovable, unworthy, unattractive. Those, right? Nobody else will love you like I do. That's the fear. And that's the prominent fear in some of these romantic relationships. That's the prominent fear in some of the relationships with even family, relationships with friends. The fear is that, you know what? If you leave, I won't be able to replace you. So what we're trying to understand tonight is what I want you to understand, that it is important for you to understand not just the surface level of why you're being triggered with this, but we need to know where this all started. We need to be asking ourselves the question, you're so insecure. Do I feel insecure? Have I felt insecure? Where did that come from? Why does that trigger me when somebody says I'm insecure? Because as quiet as it's kept, if I'm being triggered by someone saying that I'm insecure, I might feel that there's some truth in that. Okay, and that's why they can manipulate me, because the narcissist knows that, that right there is pushing your buttons. And that's what they want to do, is control. So the more that we allow them to get off gear. So some of the resolution here is being able to understand and identify. You know what? It's nothing wrong with if you feel like sometimes you're a little crazy, because we all got a little crazy in us. But don't let that be something that that someone can use to overpower and control you. It's that fear, and that's what I want to end on. It's that fear that these things are evident in my life that draws me to be controlled and manipulated by narcissistic characters. And the only way that this can be resolved is that I undo that fear. Okay? I undo that fear. Now, you can do that on your own, but this is something that me, myself, and my team help you with. And we help to get you there at a rapid pace. We're using activities and things like this. I want to put this platform out here because you can take this and use it on your own and get the resolution. But sometimes we need a little extra help. And so we're available to help you through these situations. Understanding, if you think this is resonating, this is only on the surface. Once you get to processing what's going on in your mind and the reason why you act and respond the way you do, it will make an impact. But for right now, let's study, why is it that this pisses me off? What history do I have with this pissed offness, with this situation, this subject? What fear do I have about being left alone? Why is it that someone can make me feel like I'm crazy when I believe that I'm sane? Do I really believe that? Why? Who has convinced me otherwise? Okay, so these are some of the things we'll look at. We're going to come back with some more stuff. We got a lot of people joining the group. We want to welcome you. Man, put some stuff in the chat. Don't hesitate to bring up subjects and questions. If people have questions for me, put questions in there too. And we're hoping to see you soon. We'll be back doing this next week, and we'll be dropping stuff throughout the week. Thank you. Hope this helps. Y'all take care. Bye.